The truth has been revealed about what Alperen Şengün really thought about the Kevin Durant-Jalen Green trade, as well as he has made public some comments about Fred VanVleet and what he is best at with the Houston Rockets. So we're going to give you all the details of what he said in a new interview right here on Rockets Digest. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, your number one source for all your Rockets content, rumors, updates, news. This is the channel for you. So if you want to stay up to date about your Rockets team, this is for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. But for today, we are talking about Alperen Şengün, who has been up to a lot, quite frankly, in the offseason, getting married, playing for the Turkey national team. He has been up to a lot of things. And so the first thing we're going to get to are his comments about the insane Jalen Green, Kevin Durant trade and how he felt about that trade. So we're going to go ahead and show you what he said about that one, saying, quote, "I was sad when he left," referring to Jalen Green. "He was like my brother. I was sad when I got the news. I was very sad, but at the same time, Kevin Durant is coming. Still, Jalen was my brother. I called Jalen right away and told him how I felt. I hope this trade motivates you even more because I believe Jalen is going to be a really great player. Sometimes he battles with himself, but I think he won't do that anymore and will mature even more in his game. I truly believe he's going to be a big player. I wish him all the best. We're still talking, and I'll bring him to Turkey too." End quote. And reading this, really just goes to show you the bond that these two players have formed in their years in Houston, practically growing up in the NBA together, playing very, very well together, acquiring a second seed in the 2024-2025 season. So, very sentimental words. Of course, we wish nothing but Jalen Green the best in his endeavors in Phoenix. But as Alperen Şengün also said, right, like it's a little bit of a bittersweet moment because yes, you lose one of your brothers in Jalen Green, as hard as that is for players at that level to be experiencing those kinds of losses of people that go in and out their lives as a young player in the NBA or just as a regular player in the NBA. And so that kind of sucks on Alperen Şengün's spot, but at the same time, next year you're going to be playing with Kevin Durant, who had some very nice things to say about Alperen Şengün over the weekend as I bring you to what was said about him in that aspect as Alperen Şengün was gearing up for the FIBA Eurobasket 2025 competition. This is just a little bit of what Alperen Şengün has been up to as Turkey lost Friday's preparation match versus Germany by 2 points. It was part of the DBB Super Cup and effectively a road game for the Turkish squad. However, that narrow defeat certainly was not the fault of Alperen Şengün, NBA All-Star. In 32 minutes, Şengün led the way with 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists while making 8 of 11 shots, 72%. 72% from the field and 7 of 9 from free throws, 77%. So Alperen Şengün was absolutely balling in FIBA Eurobasket competition. Obviously, he's very, very prideful in his country, and so him playing over there is great for not only him and his teammates and everyone in his family and every one of the citizens of Turkey, but at the same time, just playing off-season basketball, getting better is a good thing overall if you are a Rockets fan. Yes, injuries are a little bit of a scary thing. I understand that. But at the same time, when you're getting in these reps, when you're playing basketball constantly, is a great thing for Alperen Şengün in his development. And Kevin Durant was asked by a Twitter user not too long ago, Twitter Andrew from Twitter, basically saying, "Yo, Katie Trey, you peep what Şengün did today. What other big moving like this for real?" Kevin Durant responding as Kevin Durant, very typical Kevin Durant response, different. And he's absolutely right. Alperen Şengün is absolutely different. The way he moves with the basketball is barely matched by very, very few big men in the NBA. So that in itself is a very, very great thing. So when I look at this, and I look at the KD Alperen Şengün thing, I'm very, very excited about that. Alperen Şengün also spoke briefly about that. I think we got to it when it first came out, was just him telling Kevin Durant that he's excited to play for him and he can't wait for this season to start. And all these things, it's just the duo that you have with KD and Alperen Şengün makes this one of the best duos in the NBA, or the most unique duos. They're very versatile. KD being as tall as he is and being an elite shooter, and Şengün his footwork is able to put him in the paint and put him in a spot that he can score every single time. And so I'm very, very curious to see what this looks like in an actual regular season play. And we are still very, very far from that. This is August. Season does not start until October, until opening night against the defending champs. But at the same time, still very excited to see these guys work together throughout the offseason as well as into the regular season. Now, quick transition to some other comments Alperen Şengün made, this time about Fred VanVleet, talking about Fred and the kind of leadership that he brings to the table for this Rockets team. And I'm going to go ahead and give y'all guys what he said about the veteran leader on this Houston Rockets squad, saying, quote, "Fred has been an incredible leader since he first joined the team. He does a lot you don't see on the court. Controlling and leading the team is not easy. He also does this when he's not playing. In my opinion, there is not a single point guard like Fred in the league. Nowadays, point guards are focused on getting their shots. Fred is not like that." And I absolutely love this for the team. This makes me super, super excited for one reason and one reason only, and that is the fact that Fred VanVleet, having been kind of in these trade talks all off season, right, or kind of being the question of whether or not Houston was going to pick up that player option. There's a lot of people talking about that, but from a player standpoint, from like a Şengün standpoint, they were all in on this man regardless, right? They absolutely love VanVleet, and for good reason, right? There's a reason why he was recently elected, I believe, the president of the Player Association. He has a lot of respect with the guys around the league, and that definitely translates to his leadership with the guys in Houston. And Alperen Şengün absolutely loves what he's seeing. He's picking up on things that he's teaching. He's picking up on what it is to be a great leader, and so when you have a young guy like Şengün still learning their game, still haven't reached their potential in the NBA, it's always good to have that kind of mentor, the Virgil in Dante's Inferno, if you will, of VanVleet being Virgil. And having that guy to kind of guide them in the NBA throughout this team, along with the head coach and everyone else, but to have a player do that, it to me is a great thing for a young guy like Alperen Şengün to have in his young career, who is already an all-star, and many more all-star selections expected to come on his behalf. And so that to me is a great thing. And I want to end it off on this last quote he said about both Fred VanVleet and also Ime Udoka, about kind of just their relationship. And it's really cool. He says, "He sees the potential in me." This is for Fred VanVleet. "Fred and Ime Udoka get mad and argue with me from time to time, but it doesn't last long. He's always in my ear." And again, this is exactly what you want to hear from your all-star, your young all-star. You have these veterans, both with experience in winning championships, being part of teams that have done it before. Udoka with the Spurs, Fred VanVleet with the Toronto Raptors, guys with the experience, leading these young guys into the future, into their next steps of their career. And so when I see all this news about Alperen Şengün, right? Of course, the Jalen Green thing is very, very sad stuff. That is a brother to him. But at the same time, Alperen Şengün understands that his team just got a whole lot better. That's not a knock on Jalen Green. He's a very, very talented player. But what Rafael Stone has been able to do in acquiring KD, Dorian Finney-Smith, Clint Capella, re-signing VanVleet, re-signing Steven Adams, of course, Josh Okogie for some depth. This team is so well constructed that Alperen Şengün can benefit from finally being able to play more playoff games and deepen himself into that playoff or into that postseason, and really make a name for himself as a player and plays into some very, very important games. And so when I see all this, I look at him as an absolute winner in this situation, and I think another all-star season is definitely coming for Alperen Şengün. All the pieces are aligned for him to have his best season. Yeah, I think he will have his best season in scoring this year, considering the people that are around him, the people that are there to elevate his game. What he's doing right now with Turkey is also great to see. And so I firmly believe this will be his highest scoring season in the NBA, despite adding KD to the roster. I think he's up for a big one, and we'll see how that pans out in the regular season. But let me know in the comments what you think about Alperen Şengün's 2025-2026 season. And if you have been watching some Turkey basketball, go ahead and drop some of the stuff you've seen from him below. But that pretty much wraps it up for this video of Rockets Digest. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so now. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on Rockets Digest.